The SEC is not really keeping it going. It's just pausing and delaying. They've extended their review of the Ark 21Shares Bitcoin ETF application as it continues to look at spot Bitcoin ETF applications from TradFi heavyweights like BlackRock and Fidelity. Ark Investment Management and 21Shares have been looking for an ETF approval since 2021. Can you believe it? All those years ago now when it made its first ETF application, which was followed by another one earlier this year. Will, I'm going to kick this one off to you. I think there was a lot of chatter about a potential ETF application approval. There is still a chance that we get an ETF app approval, but these extensions keep coming. What do you make of this?
Same story, different year, different date,
Different
same
day.
story. Yeah, it just keeps happening. I mean, there's a lot of ETFs out there for Bitcoin right now. There's like the Invesco one with Galaxy Digital. There's the BlackRock one, which really kind of got the ball rolling again. And then we have this 21Shares one, which has been outstanding for quite a while. Like, you could name like 3 or 4 others, right? So what are they going after? Well, they're going after this retail crowd that has brokerage exchanges. They can like log into Schwab or log into Fidelity, and then they can go purchase Bitcoin through an ETF product. And that would really open up the doors of adoption and be a quite lucrative business for a lot of people who are in the ETF game, because they get a little bit of the bips for every time you buy and sell one of these things, which is really nice. Why is the SEC continuing to delay this? Well, the rationale a few years ago was market manipulation is pretty rampant within crypto, and that a lot of the numbers were fake, right? So think of like trading volumes. There's a lot of wash trading within crypto. And then even like the more reputable exchanges out there, like the Coinbases of the world, well, I mean, they're getting sued, and we don't really know if we like these markets. And also, Coinbase is interacting with the larger crypto market. Well, that kind of makes the numbers on Coinbase a little suspect. So there's a lot of thoughts around like why this can't happen. But I think with BlackRock piling in and with a bunch of other people re-upping their ETF hopes, there's this idea that maybe now is the time. Maybe now we have enough information about these markets. The key thing with the recent filings, of course, was the surveillance agreement, where there was an agreement between the ETF and the exchanges and then NASDAQ to be able to look at all the numbers and look under the decks and see if there was market manipulation in any sort of way. And that the thought was like maybe that will get it across the finish line. And a lot of people have put good numbers on those bets. Zach?
Yeah, I hate to be like the political conspiracy guy, but this does kind of feel like an entirely political calculation at this point, right? So SEC Chair Gary Gensler has long been against a lot of these vehicles and long been for alleged consumer protection. And I think there's been a lot of speculation in the space that maybe this is the avenue in which Gary sort of yields a little bit, right? He's going real hard on all these unregistered securities issuers. He's going real hard on all the crypto exchanges. Maybe we'll throw the most TradFi, Wall Street friendly product, a Bitcoin spot ETF. That's probably the most friendly of the bunch. Maybe we'll give that one our blessing, right? And maybe sort of it'll change sort of the overall political calculus and perception of Gary Gensler's views on crypto. And I think these delays and these subsequent delays just add a lot of fuel to that fire, right? Add a lot of suspicion that this is indeed a political calculation as to when it will be most useful timing-wise to maybe finally say, okay, we have a Bitcoin futures ETF. Let's do a spot Bitcoin ETF. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's still based on the same markets. Let's just get this thing over with, right? So I don't know. It, like the behind the scenes stuff, the political calculation stuff, kind of feels like the story at this point. I don't know. We're going to have to ask those like Bloomberg ETF guys, like what their odds are now, because they were all like 60-40 yes and like, yeah, whatever. Who knows? It's all procedural anyway. But Will, what do you think?
I want to add one quote, which was in the CoinDesk article. This is from Scott Farnan, who's legal counsel at consumer advocacy group Better Market, saying, quote, "The spot Bitcoin markets have, one, a history of artificially inflated trading volumes due to rampant manipulation and wash trading, and two, are highly concentrated, and three, rely on a select group of individuals and entities to maintain Bitcoin's network." Now, 1 and 2 kind of seem similar to the things we've seen in the past, like an echoing of all the thoughts that Gary Gensler and others have had against it. The third one's a little interesting, kind of talking about like how Bitcoin works. And maybe there's something along those lines that people are still just like trying to learn about. But in whole, Zach, like I kind of view the comment from Scott Farnan here as like being incorrect. Like I think what you're saying makes a little bit more sense. It does seem like there's a lot of political agitation or political angling here that's not working out for us Bitcoiners. Jen?
Yeah, I remember when the SEC responded to BlackRock and the subsequent applications. And I said, and I think, Zach, you agreed with me, that at least they're responding and they're saying, what maybe needs to be fixed and what we should focus on here. And then everyone came out with a surveillance sharing agreement with Coinbase, and now we are delayed. It just feels like deja vu. Almost every story we talk about, it's like push and pull and push and pull. And we're stuck in this in between. But I do remain bullish just by the fact that BlackRock has thrown their hat into the race here. I want to point out Matrix Port article that was on CoinDesk this morning that said they believe that when there is an ETF approval, there will be a flurry of subsequent approvals afterwards that will kind of get us out of this holding pattern that we've seen in the Bitcoin market. And I also have to remain bullish on this whole ETF saga because we already have one in Canada, and I wish the best, and I hope that you too in the US can experience all of the glory of the North.
The glory of a Bitcoin ETF.
The glory of the North.